What up everyone, it's your man XMan87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Marvel Legends Spider-Man No Way Home 3-pack action figure review. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's go! Alright, first up is Tom Holland Spider-Man, and honestly, I'm not going to waste your time here. It's the same one as before, except they just painted the cobwebbing this time around. They realized they didn't do their job the first time by painting it, so here it is, painted. However, they didn't do their jobs following through with the hands, as none of his hands have painted cobwebbings. They still included the gauntlets, which shouldn't be there. However, you can remove the gauntlets, just pop the fist out and pop that out, pop this back in. It's just gonna look weird as hell, but it is removable. But this is not what we care about the most in this set. It's not Peter 1, it is Peter 2, Tobey Maguire, and even though this is Peter 1 and this is Peter 2, as much as Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man, he's Peter 3. No matter what, this should always be Peter 1 to me. No matter what, Tobey should be Peter 1. But I get it, you know, they numbered Tom Holland as Peter 1 because that is the main Spider-Man in the MCU. Alright, enough of that. Let's get into Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Alright, so this figure is getting a lot of hate online for no reason. And from what I'm seeing, this is a bunch of nitpicking bitching. And I don't hate the figure, so if you expect hate spewing from me in this video, I'm sorry to disappoint, but, you know, I'm not going to apologize for liking something that you don't, or vice versa. So if that's what you expect, hey, you're more than welcome to take your negativity elsewhere. But if you want to keep an open mind and see what I have to say, then stick around. Because there are some problems with this figure, and again, I'm always going to keep it real with you, calling it how I see it. Some say the mask isn't accurate, and I gotta completely disagree. It looks accurate to me. I mean, when it comes to the lens, sure, they need to dip out a little bit more on the far outer sides, but we're not even talking about a full millimeter, man. Not even a hint of a millimeter. Again, nitpicking bitching is not enough to really make it break for me. Some say the eye lens are far apart, and you know what? Tobey's eye lens were always like that on the mask. Sure, the previous movies were a little bit closer, but not by much. They were still far apart at the end of the day. Some are comparing the web lines going downwards in the center, how it's not even matching the older movies. Do you even realize that he needed a new costume in the new movie? Because one, he couldn't fit in the old costume, and that old costume deteriorated, so there's that. But here's an image of side-by-side comparisons from the old mask to the new mask, and as you can see on the old mask, the web pattern in the center going downward, they're more closed in together, as the new one is more spaced out. And that's what you can see right here. Look at the webbing spacing right there. It's spaced out. It's nice. The lens, I wish they were a little more reflective, but they did give it this kind of nice pearlescent hue to it. So it's somewhat reflective. It actually pops better in hand than it does off camera here. Unfortunately, mine has some scuffing right there on the top portion of the lens, and then it's not fully painted right here on the edge of the bottom lens right here. So as you can see the difference between the two, yeah, that really sucks, man. Even the web pattern going up is accurate. He doesn't have the line in the middle right there. It starts like more towards the back of his head and goes down. It's really nice. And I don't understand why they gave him a seam at the lower neck right here like they did with the Gamerverse Miles Morales. I mean, you gave him a ball joint at the upper neck. You might as well give him a lower ball joint right there at the lower portion of the neck so that he has range. To me, a disc hinge, you can't beat a disc hinge when it comes to the range looking all the way up. A ball joint is not going to beat that. However, if you have a lower ball joint at the lower neck, then you could beat that disc hinge because you'll have that neck bending all the way back. Otherwise, the sculpt is accurate to me for the most part. I mean, this is dad bod Spider-Man pretty much, you know. I think the sculpt is better than the SH Figure Arts one because that one just has extreme baby hips. I mean, this one has a little bit of baby hips, you know, don't get me wrong, but not as bad as the SH Figure Arts one. I think my biggest gripe with this is that the shoulders are not proportionate. They dip too low. Tobey always had these upright, broad shoulders, especially right here, like at the deltoids. So you can see these dip too low. They should be upright. And why the hell is the hinge right there on the shoulder sinking in? It should be in line with the sculpt right there. So you get that big gap. That's just horrible. The biggest issue for me more than anything is the paint. I think the red should have been a little bit darker. The metallic accents on the raised webbing is alright with me. It reminds me more of his 2007 costume, where it has more accents on them. I think they were only darker in the movie because they were battling at night, but, you know, I think this is perfect for daylight, his costume. You know, there was no light to bounce off of for his webbing, so it was going to look dark. Slight signs. Still, you know, I think they could have toned it down a little bit. The chest logo is right. I mean, it's a gunmetal accent, so, you know, I'm okay with that. The back spider logo is looking really nice. I do like that. However, it looks good like this when it's still in vanilla, but when you bend it over, it just looks like the spider has 12 legs instead of 8. Because it's just like, what the hell? It's like new legs just come out of nowhere right there. So it just looks best like that. They could have scoped that a little bit differently, man. Sure, it proved the challenge in design, but I think a gap would have been more suitable than 12 legs. Not that that still would have been acceptable, but, you know, this still looks bad. One thing I will say that I gotta give this figure more than the SH Figure Arts is the red right here on the elbows. They actually fill the red in, whereas the SH Figure Arts, they did not fill the red in. It's more blue in this area than anything. So this is much more accurate, and I like how it takes up most of his tricep, bicep area and the forearms. Yeah, this is really nice. That's accurate. So they did a great job evening that out. And I'm okay with the blue for the most part, man. I'm totally fine with it. I love how everything is texturized. Like, look at the details inside the red, inside the blue. It is beautifully texturized throughout. I mean, it's a nice sculpt. Yeah, I can't complain. Man, they actually put some damn effort, you know, compared to most of their Spider-Man figures. And even the hinges on the knees are texturized. That's sweet. Here are the boots. You know, Tobey's boots always had this dip right there at the center. And I will say the feet are on the thicker side. And why the hell didn't they give him toe joints? Every Tobey Maguire figure before this had toe joints. So for them not to add toe joints here, they went backwards. Like, come on, man. These feet were thick enough to give them toe joints. No excuse. Alright, now it's time for the best Spider-Man out of the three. And Andrew Garfield, to me, is the best live-action Spider-Man representation. He's that good middle ground between Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland. Because where it feels humor-wise, right? Tobey's humor felt forced and unnatural at times, and even with quips, like his best quips was, "Here's your change," against Doc Ock at the bank vault. Where Tom Holland lacked that spontaneity, and it kind of made it feel a little monotonous, you know? But the most comic book accurate Spider-Man, especially when it comes to his scientist side, he did it all by himself. His, again, quips were just top-notch with that witty humor. Most human of all the live-action Spider-Man as well, too. And he was part of the best on-screen romance in any comic book film. I mean, yeah, it helped that Emma Stone was his real-life girlfriend at the time, but that chemistry really, really paid off at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2. It hit deep. It hit harder than any other death scene I've seen in any comic book film. And obviously, number one reason is just he's a much better actor overall than Tobey and Tom Holland put together. He has more acting range. The guy wins award after award, so yeah, he deserves his third movie, man, and I really do hope that he does go up against Tom Hardy's Venom instead of Tom Holland, because you gotta give him what he wants. I mean, at the Spider-Man No Way Home film, he even said it, man, you guys got to fight an alien? I never got to fight an alien, so man, give him his wish, you know what I mean? Give him that fight, give him the alien. I think those two would have a much better chemistry over Tom Holland and Tom Hardy. And when he showed up on screen in my theater, he had a way louder ovation than Tobey Maguire. So it just shows you that, you know, people love Andrew. So sorry, I had to just show my love for Andrew Garfield here. But let's, you know, focus on the figure right now. And again, he's the best Spider-Man out of the three here. His sculpt is just spot on. Look at those islands. I do like it. And for some reason, again, same thing with Tobey. My islands on the top right corner right there is splotchy. So, damn it, man. Both the Spider-Mans I wanted in this set have messed up islands on the right side. And the one I don't care about is perfectly fine. Like, what the hell? But they did give him a kind of pearly white to the lens, and I do love the raised webbing That glossy black is so nice, man. I do like that. Even on the spider logo right there, it is glossy. Did they give that to Toby? No, Toby's not glossy nor matte. It's more like a satin finish, but oh man, this is really nice. And the cobwebbing pattern is closed in together, so it does remind me of McFarlane vibes, you know, where the cobwebbing pattern is close and tight together. This just looks nice. I will say that the spider logo on the back right there is really nice. Better bend than the Toby one, because the legs right there, they just extend. It's not breaking up at the middle part of the spider logo. I will say that the top legs right here do overlap on the cobwebbing design pattern right there, so I do not like that. That is not a good look. And like the arms on the side, unlike Toby where it covers most of the bicep and tricep, on this one side, this one twirls over the bicep muscle line, and they kept that paint pattern throughout. That's really good. You get some overlapping right there, like just one streak of web. I'm not feeling that. Some are complaining that his red is too dark. I'm like, what? His red is naturally dark to begin with. I mean, Andrew's costume is meant for the dark. That's where his costume pops the most, is the dark. I mean, he is the darkest out of all three Spider-Man, which is why I lean towards more Andrew over Toby and Tom, because I do like the darker characters. Edgier characters are just always more interesting. His web shooters aren't painted though. Aren't they supposed to be like a mix of blue and red or black or something like that? That's a bummer. They should have done that. They should have painted the web shooters. I love the blues. I love the texture throughout, from the blue and a little bit in the red. It's very subtle. It's not prominent like Toby's, but it's there. You can see it. And it just looks really nice. Does he have the texture in the hinges? Yes, he does. He has the texture on the knee hinges, but not the elbows. Yeah, proportion-wise, he's the best looking one until we get to the boots right here, and it's his ankles. What the hell, man? His heel is really his Achilles heel of this figure, because yeah, that's the weak point of this figure. He has no heel. It's like freaking cankles. What the hell? It makes him look so flat-footed. When you move the ankles down, you can see some of the cobwebbing patterns just going out of alignment, so that's a bummer. It doesn't go out of alignment on the shoulders, so if you move the shoulder rockers back, as you can see, the cobwebbing, it stays aligned, which is really nice. Same with Toby. As you can see, you move it back, they stay aligned, and that's a really good thing. Now for accessories, other than the fist, they each come with a pair of whipping hands, and they all come with a set of wall crawling hands. Finally, for the first time, MCU Spider-Man figures finally have wall crawling hands. And you can see how ridiculously oversized Tom Holland's hands are compared to Toby and Andrew's, and mind you, he is shorter than the two of them. And I gotta say, one thing I really love about these wall crawling hands compared to Tom Holland's is that their hand gestures are different. Tom Holland's is the same, as you can see, but if you compare these two, the right hand have about the same gesture, you know, it's kind of splayed out, but the left hand right here, you can see Toby's is more like hooked in, and even Andrew's as well, almost like a holding like gesture, but still crawling. It's almost as if they wanted you to recreate one of the original Spider-Man movie posters. But it's even better with Andrew's other hand, because if you have the Mafex Deluxe Amazing Spider-Man edition, you could fit those extra accessories like the fire hat and the megaphone here. As you can see, he's holding it pretty well, and this just looks absolutely amazing. It's even good for using the fire hose too. I just lost this top piece right here. I don't know where the hell it went, but you know, still makes for a fun accessory. It's even good for holding his phone too, so that works. And in case you're wondering if the backpack works with the skateboard, yeah, it does work. The only thing is that strap right here is going to stay untabbed. That's the only downside, but you know, if you're taking pictures, just shoot from the other side and you'll be good. Or do your best to hide it. Then lastly, they each come with a piece of web strand that is just played out from over a decade ago. This pack deserved newer web strings over this crap. For articulation, we're skipping Tom Holland. You've seen this one before. They should have at least given him drop-down hips just for a little bit of an upgrade from the last one. But let's get into Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and his head moves about that far up because it is on a ball joint. You're not going to get much movement to look up. He looks about that far down, not much movement. Then he's got head tilting, and you can rock that around. His arms do move about that far up, so higher than a T-pose is always good. You can bring them down, swing them around. You got butterfly joints that move that far in and that far out, so it's okay. It's not the best, but it's there. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, perfect. Wrist swivel and a wrist hinge. Double diaphragm joint, so he's got the upper torso swivel and the inverted ab crunch. So he has a great bend going forward and going back as well. That's a really good bend. Upper torso swivel, and it has a nice pivot on the side, and you can rock that around. Drop down leg mechanics, so they move about that far down. You can put them back up. They do not make a full split. Another Spider-Man without a full split, so that's all you're gonna get right there. And you can kick his leg outward and up about that far, and then back, so he could get a full frontward split. That's okay. All right, and his legs can rock around. You got the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and heel to the butt. Look at that. Oh yeah, lower leg, upper leg, it's perfectly proportioned, and yeah, that is awesome. Heel to the Peter 2 butt. And then you have his ankles that move about that far up. That's real good. It moves about that far down. I know I could get more range. There we go. And it has some nice ankle pivot. All right, Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man. His head is also on a ball joint, but he looks further up more than Tobey, and he looks a little further down more than Tobey as well. Left, right, he does have that tilting side to side. It does rock around. He's got a nice arm movement that goes that high, higher than a T-pose. You move it down, swing them around. You got the butterfly joints that move about that far in and about that far back. So not much. I think I want to say Tobey has a better range, or they're about the same. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. You got the wrist swivel and a wrist hinge. Same double diaphragm joint method. However, when you move them forward, look at this. And then if I move Tobey over, look at the difference here, man. Why does Tobey Maguire Spider-Man bent over naturally and not Andrew Garfield? It looks like Andrew Garfield's having back problems here. It's Tobey that has the back problems, not Andrew. Another thing they gotta do right here is just a better fluidity when bending over. As you can see, these back humps can look a little too lumpy and weird, so they really need to smooth that out and not make it look so damn bumpy. Got the upper torso swivel, and he does pivot nicely side to side, and it rocks around. Tobey has a deeper pivot. I'm disappointed that this one doesn't. So diaphragm wise, Tobey is the winner here. And if I didn't show how far back he could move, there you go. And yeah, that's a deep back movement, man. It's almost breaking his back. If only his ab crunch was this deep, he would have been perfect. Legs spread out that far apart, so he has more range than Tobey there. And he's got the drop down hip mechanics right there. You got the legs that can kick far outward and up, and they can kick that far back. So he's got good movement there. You don't got to worry about it. Legs rock around. You got the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and do we get heel to the butt? Yes, no, kind of slightly. Yes, we do. Heel to the Peter 3 butt is a success. His ankles do move about that far up and that far down, really low, and he's got great all-around ankle rockers. Let's do some comparisons, and here we have the Tom Holland Spider-Man next to Michelle Jones and Ned Leeds. Don't have much for Tobey Spider-Man, can't find my old Toy Biz one, but here he is next to the only Marvel Legends movie Mary Jane figure from the Spider-Man 3 Mega Sandman Build-A-Figure wave. Then here he is next to a custom Macho Man Randy Savage Bonesaw McGraw figure. I know he had his pro wrestling attire when going up against him, but I still wanted to show this figure some love, which was made from my familia at jvega0812 on Instagram. This is still my most wanted Marvel Legends movie figure ever. I don't have anything for Andrew Spider-Man, so here he is next to Stan Lee. Lastly, here is all three Spider-Mans together from left to right. We have our integrated suit Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and Amazing Spider-Man. For the most part, it's fair having Andrew as the tallest and then Tobey taller than Tom. I think the SH Figure Arts has the best size comparisons between all three Spideys, as shown from Isaac Wong Toys on Instagram. If they had fixed the feet on Andrew, I think that would have brought him up a bit for the proper boost in height. Still though, they look good all together. Okay, I got a lot to say, so let's wrap this up. Starting with the integrated suit, this figure should have been on par with the same articulation scheme as his fellow Peters. They still didn't give him new forearms without the gauntlets, only added the web paintings, therefore not enough upgrades to improve upon. I'll give him a generous 4.5 out of 10. The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is pretty accurate in proportions, one thing Toy Biz could never get right as they were terribly disproportionate. They also made the textures on their suits so scaly looking, whereas this one is accurately textured. Some may like the articulation more from Toy Biz and SH Figuarts over this one, and that's fine, but I'm the type of collector that likes a combo that's fairly balanced throughout, and this figure offers that for me between sculpt, aesthetics, articulation, etc. Yeah, it still has its flaws like the shoulders, but still overall better in other areas. Other than that, like I said, it needed toe joints, a double ball peg neck, and the red needed to be a shade darker. I'm still having a lot of fun posing them around, and I'll score them with an 8 out of 10 rating. The Amazing Spider-Man is definitely the best of the bunch and kicks his 2014 Legends ass. I'm in favor of the darker color tones. The glossy black cobwebbing just adds so much of a striking visual appeal for the figure that complements those darker tones. He's wonderfully textured throughout, just like the Tobey figure. Compared to Tobey in articulation, I will say that they both are pretty much the same, except Andrew is better at the neck and legs, whereas Tobey is better at the diaphragm. Both are equally ranged at the shoulders and arms. He's sculpted nicely for the most part. If they had the black spider logo not overlapping the cobwebbing pattern, adjusted the feet, adjusted the upper torso swivel so he can bend over more, and painted the web shooters, then he would have been perfect. The Mafex accessories gave this figure even more replay value. I'm giving Amazing Spider-Man an 8.75 out of 10. My final rating of this set as a collective is a 7 out of 10. I hate factoring price here, but let's be real, it plays a major role. For $90, it makes these figures $30 a pop. I know we get 3 sets of hands, but they should have also included holding hands for the web strings and some pointing fingers to recreate the Spider-Man pointing meme for fun. The most important inclusion was excluded, and that was of course the unmasked heads for each of them. We know how Hasbro rolls, and they'll release them with their single carded versions and maybe make some proper adjustments that should have been corrected the first time. It's just unethical to charge $90 for this without all those extra hands and heads needed. Not to mention giving us shitty web strings that are 11 years old. If you know my rating system, then you know that anything I rate in the 7s is in the average area. And for $90, this shouldn't be an average set with average offerings. No way are they a $30 value each when breaking it down. One way they could have made the $90 price tag worth it was maybe add in a flat diorama base based off the top of the Statue of Liberty's head as seen on the cover, just like the top hairpiece with some pieces of the crown sticking out without overdoing it. Or maybe add in the final swing suit for Tom Holland, which was more desired in this set over a Spider-Man figure they already gave us. I know that would have defeated the purpose of the scene, but still, they all come from the same movie. You look at the recent X-Men 275 3-packs, and those were $77.99, still pricey but included more accessories. This is $90 featuring less. I was given insight that the Sony license now costs more. That makes sense and explains why the Spider-Man 2 PS5 figure is priced at $35 for a basic ass figure and why this set is $90. Who knows what they'll price next for a non-basic item like a deluxe? Looking at you, rumored Alfred Molina Doc Ock. No matter, they still got everyone's money as this pack is sold out and they're gonna get away with it because, well, it's Spider-Man and many collectors will eat it up. If you don't care about the extra heads being released later, then you'll be content with this pack. If you care, then wait it out. For me, as much as I wanted the extra heads, which should have been included for this price point, I find myself not caring for them now since I'm pretty much over movie figures, but I did want to get this one because Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield just mean so much to me. I love them and the uniqueness that they brought to the table for the character and its fandom. Tom Holland earned his web shooters after No Way Home for me, so I do want to give him the credit he deserves. I'm a fan of these figures. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. They carry their flaws with them, as I pointed out, especially in some cosmetics, but they also carry some strong attributes that clouds over some of those flaws. The articulation leaves a bit to be desired, where they should have went ham on it. Some of the detailings are beautifully highlighted. I like how good they look all together, and these are great additions for your Spider-Man movie shelves. I'm not hating on the set, but I'm not in love with it either. I feel incomplete as it left me feeling with wanting more instead of feeling completely satisfied. Maybe I'll find my fulfillment with a future release or elsewhere. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this No Way Home 3-pack? Yay or nay? Or are you going to play the waiting game for a better Legends release or seek elsewhere? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. That was my review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace, peace. Going off the side packaging art here, you can see lightning and sand, and it looks like they're teasing Electro and Sandman for a future No Way Home wave.